Morning. Again, apologies for pushing the session back a little bit. Something just came up that I had to take care of. But okay, I'm just making sure that all the pages I can visibly see. Okay. All right, there we go. Let me just make sure that I'm sharing. Different time zone, glad to be here. Awesome. Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get started now. I am gonna give a couple people just a couple minutes to join. Obviously, so today what we're gonna be reviewing is gonna be QuantLink like setup, like going through the entire process. Obviously, when it comes to step by step, okay, review and making sure everything is done properly step by step. You have the entire help section for troubleshooting, and then you can also go more into specifics for each specific step, right? So like webhook generator, like introduction to webhooks on QuantLink, right? Like it will tell you and basically teach you everything, right? So like we're gonna go over it either way, but like in the future, like going forward, for anybody really, like not even just you guys, but anybody that's using QuantLink, there isn't really an excuse to not know how to use it because it's taught step by step, right? We're going to review it now today, make sure that everybody understands all the steps that are taken and the way that it's done. And then obviously if you need to review, you can either go back to this video for the recording or you can go through the troubleshooting, which again, the 5 steps are right here. But then you also have more specific individual steps, and then you even have the videos here that you can watch, right? So like a whole walkthrough, the generating the webhook, the managed connections, the trading alerts, trading groups, all that stuff, right? So there's everything, absolutely zero excuse to not essentially learn, right? It's right there in front of you. But again, we're going to review, we're going to go over it, we're going to answer questions, make sure that everybody understands how to do it, okay? And then what we're also going to do is go over NinjaTrader, more so like the basic stuff, right? So the automatic file install, where to find your strategies, how to apply them to the chart, settings, all that type of stuff, how to enable, disable algorithm, all that jazz, right? So we'll review all that today. But the first thing we're going to do is go to QuantLink, and we're going to do that. Okay. Again, when it comes to QuantLink, this is something that is offered to everybody, not just ATS members, not just elite members. Even if you're a non-member, you can still use it and take advantage of it. Okay. QuantLink is the bridge software, or one of the two, right? You have 2 bridge softwares. You have QuantLink, which is directly on your dashboard in your profile for QuantView if you purchase it, right? And then you have ATS 1.4, which if you're an ATS member, comes automatically with ATS, where the only thing you would have to pay for is just the virtual server itself. Okay. There is no virtual server needed for QuantLink. All right. You can essentially decide which one of the other that you want to run. Okay. It's your decision. If you don't want to run the VPS and you don't want to pay the $120 a month for the VPS, because I don't know, let's say you're only working with cash accounts or you're only working with platforms that allow automation, right? Then QuantLink is going to be the way to go. Okay, for those of you that are elite members, obviously you don't have ATS 1.4 to begin with, so your only options would be to go with QuantLink or go with any of the other third-party brokers like Pick My Trade, Traders Post, and we can kind of talk about them. Pick My Trade right here, right? So similarly, and then you have Traders Post is another one. Not Trade Station. Traders Post is another one, right? Before QuantLink was a thing, you would have to go to one of these, sign up, right? And then obviously you have they give a 5-day free trial, but it's the same price more or less. And they also limit you on how many accounts you can connect based off of what plan you have. But if you're an elite member, this is what you would have had to use before QuantLink even came out anyways, right? The difference between these two, for example, which I think are the two most popular, and QuantLink is that QuantLink is way faster when it comes to execution speeds. I think it's easier to set up, in my opinion, and it's also more coded towards quant view algorithms. And you can also use other algorithms as well that are non-quant view also. Okay. And it also has a built-in group trader that you can connect multiple different accounts, right? So those are really the avenues for elite members versus ATS members, right? ATS members, you have the option between the two, QuantLink or your ATS 1.4 on the virtual server. And then for elite members, it's either QuantLink or a third party, okay? Does it have to be Chart VPS? Yes, we only set up ATS 1.4 through Chart VPS, correct. We won't set up anybody's ATS 1.4 through a different server or a VPS platform. But again, it's either that or QuantLink, essentially. But the setup is free. You just have to pay for the VPS, right? Now, as we discussed earlier, right, even the quick guide basically has all of the steps in order. Okay, so the first thing you always need to do is manage your connections. This is whether you're adding a new connection, disconnecting an old account that, let's say, you don't have access to anymore, or you want to disconnect. You're refreshing accounts. You can also have a dashboard, which we're currently working on as well. It'll tell you the last time that it synced, right? So 11:23 at 4:02 p.m. So literally yesterday, right? Wait, today's 11:23. That doesn't make sense. I might have the time frame off then, or the time zone off. But you can either connect a TradeAvate account, or you can connect a TopStep X account. So if we go to add accounts for TradeAvate, you would just log into your Apex, or to your either Apex or any prop firm account that's through TradeAvate, or even your cash account. Okay, for those of you wondering, my cash account is through TradeAvate. If you want to add a new connection here, again, you have TradeAvate, and then you also have all of these different futures platforms that you can essentially connect through, because they're TopStep X, or just directly through, Project X, right? Which these are all Project X. Obviously, I think the majority of these, if you don't already have an existing account with them, you're not going to be able to connect for, like, I'm talking about the futures, because I think Project X was bought out by TopStep. So only TopStep is going to be able to offer it. But you can still do demo accounts as well. And then if you have an existing account with any of these prop firms that are Project X, you can basically connect them, right? And that's for Project X. Everything else, TradeAvate, is through here. Okay, so you pick which one you want to do. Obviously, you have 21 with Project X. TradeAvate, it's the same for each, but prop firm to prop firm may be a little bit different for Project X. You decide what you want to connect. Once those are connected, then the next thing, again, it's in order already. You go to TradingView, right? So let's say I want to delete this for now. Okay, so when you make a trading group, right? This trading group is to dictate what, like, basically split accounts on what it is you want to automate, because QuantLink will give you the opportunity to automate multiple accounts, multiple different accounts at the same time, whether it's the same strategy or different strategies. Okay, so let's say you want to run, Apex accounts on one strategy, and then you want to run Tradeify accounts on another strategy, right? You would first connect both your Apex and your Tradeify accounts in the Manage Connections tab. Then when you go to trading groups, when you're going to create a group, you would want to create one group for Apex accounts, another group for your Tradeify, right? So if you go to create group, you can name it. So let's say I want to do Tradeify, and then I go create group, right? Now it will give me the option to now add accounts that I have connected in the manage account section. So any accounts I have logged into here, I can then add them to a group, whether it's a group of accounts, 5 accounts, 10 accounts, whether it's from the same prop firm or multiple different prop firms, or even a mix of live accounts and prop accounts. Okay. It would just be as simple as you click. Obviously, if you have more, you would just click, 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 add all the ones you want to add. They'll say add selected. And now you have the Tradeify group, and then it'll tell you how many accounts you have connected in there, and then the details, right? If you want to edit that, you just go to edit, right? You can update the name, or you can go back to here, and then you can delete it and then add new ones, right? So if I want to delete it there, okay? But with these trading groups, okay, this is basically a separator. It dictates, okay, what group of accounts do I want to trade with one strategy or another strategy. If you have, let's say, accounts with multiple prop firms and you want to trade them all in the same strategy, right? You would log into all the different prop firms that you want to trade on a strategy. Then once you go to the groups and you create a group, you would just say, prop firms, right? Create the group. And then when you add the accounts, you would add all of the accounts that you want to automate with that one specific strategy, whether it's, again, one prop firm, multiple prop firms, a mix of prop firms and cash accounts. You click all the ones that you want to use, and then you click add selected, right? So like that, add selected, and then it will create the group, right? Once the group is created, what's the very next step? You create the trading alert, okay? This trading alert will now dictate, right, when an alert comes in, what you want to go to, right? So like, let's say, I'll just delete this for now. So let's say I want to now create an alert for that specific group of accounts that I want to automate. I go here to create alert, right? And then I go to the alert name. Let's say I want to name it the same prop, and then your destination. So where is this alert once it's receiving the alert through webhook from TradingView? Where is it being sent to? Either the prop group or the cash group. Prop, right? And then you scroll all the way down. I don't really use any of these. I think this is only more specific for Project X, right? For specific symbol mapping, which you would just copy and use the same symbol on Project X as you would, on Project X essentially, right? So you click create alert. Now I have a new alert dedicated for that specific group that I selected, and that group specifically has all the different prop firm accounts and the cash account that I want to automate, okay? And it's active. Now when I go to the webhook generator, now this is where you would have both this page and your TradingView open at the same time, okay? Now you're creating your webhook, so now this is where you're now connecting your quant link to now your TradingView account, right? Or your TradingView alert. So when you go here, you go choose alert. I want to use trade the prop, right? This is the one that we're creating right now, the prop group. So now this alert will be connected to TradingView through the webhook we're about to create, okay? Anything QuantView, literally right here, QuantView strategies. Use for QuantView strategies that have the QuantLink alert source option in the strategy settings, okay? Use the JSON message for all other strategies. So if it does not have the QuantLink alert source option in the algorithm, you cannot use this this way that we're doing it right now. We'll go through the other way as well. But you can't use this way if you're not using an algorithm that doesn't have the QuantLink alert source option, right? So you click that, okay? And then now it gives you the 4 things that you need in order to create your alert and start automating, okay? Now, when we go back over here to TradingView, okay, now when we go back over here to TradingView, I'm going to now share my TradingView screen. Okay, now we're here on TradingView, right? And now let's say I already have the dedicated strategy that I want to run. It has the settings that I already decided I wanted to run with the sizing. Okay, remember the big difference between QuantLink and ATS 1.4 when it comes to the quantity order size is that on QuantLink, this right here dictates the number of contracts you're being entered in for the trade, right? Obviously, if it has a martingale, then the martingale also applies. But for ATS 1.4, the quantity size dictates how many times the buy or sell button gets pressed when the alert gets sent to your ATS 1.4. So your hotkey, so with ATS 1.4, you have 4. So that means once this alert gets sent to your ATS 1.4, it will read buy 4 times. So if you have one contract set on your Tradeovate and you're getting an alert with a quantity of 4, it will put you in 4 trades of 1 contract for a total of 4 contracts, right? If you have 2 contracts set in your Tradeovate, so this is your Tradeovate right here, right, on your VPS, and you have a quantity of 4, it'll put you in 4 trades of 2 contracts for a total of 8 contracts, okay? So the difference between QuantLink and ATS 1.4 is that when you're automating to ATS 1.4, I like to have the default order size set to 1, and then I'll just multiply what my base contracts are directly on Tradeovate, right? So if I want to get into a contract trade of 3, I'll just have 3 set in Tradeovate, and with the quantity being 1, it'll just click the button 1 time for a trade of 3 contracts, okay? But for QuantLink, for QuantLink specifically, the quantity that you have here, right, dictates how many contracts you're actually getting placed into, okay? So once we go through the webhook, right, and the webhook, what I just showed you, so the 4 things, you have your user ID, your alert ID, and let me reshare that one more time. So actually, let me go like this. I'm gonna share the entire screen real quick. Okay. So share screen, and then I'm just gonna share an entire screen right here. Okay. So, and then let me also do this. I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller for the recording. Okay, so right here. So once you're creating the webhook, right, this is now when you have TradingView open as well as your QuantLink, okay? This is the algorithm that I want to automate. So what do? I go here, I click add alert for the strategy that I want to run. Okay, again, this is all in your teachings, in the setup videos, everything that you guys already have access to. Okay, so if you're if you've been on ATS for more than a week, you should know how to do this. This is like the bare minimum already, right? But we're still gonna go over it just to reinforce the steps, okay? But again, no excuse why you should not know how to already do this. Once you go to the alert, you're gonna have a message box here. This message box you just delete, okay? Anything QuantView, strategy, whether QuantLink or ATS, okay? If it has either the ATS alert or the QuantLink alert option, which obviously if we go here to the settings, this does have it, right? And this is what it means by the QuantLink right here. So the source for alerts. So when we go over here to QuantLink, right? This is what it means. QuantLink alert source option. If that is not here, then you cannot use QuantLink the way that we're setting it up, okay? Right now. And we'll go over the other way too. But whenever you're creating an alert, what some people will do is they'll forget to change from ATS alerts and they'll try to use QuantLink instead, right? And then it won't send anything because you have it set to the wrong alerts. So this has to match. If you're doing ATS alerts, then your user ID and your spam key come directly from your ATS on your virtual server, okay? If you're doing QuantLink alerts, then your QuantLink user ID and alert ID come directly from the specific webhook you're using. So user ID, alert ID right here for this specific alert that I want to create on those groups of accounts, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating a strategy to automate to this group of accounts through QuantLink, and the algorithm that I'm automating is that Q Chronos Evo, okay? So once you're on this page, right, your user ID and your alert ID have to be in the strategy before you create the alert. So that should be the first thing you copy and paste into. Copy, paste, click OK, right? Now, when you're creating the alert, right, you can name it whatever you want. Let's say Evo, okay? In the message box, you have your webhook JSON right here. This is your JSON messaging. You copy, you come over here to TradingView, and you paste. That's step one. Step two, you have to make sure that you have your webhook URL connected, right? Webhook URL, webhook endpoint. Copy. And it's literally the same thing, but paste. It's the only two things you need to do to create an alert. Okay? Create. Now you have a new alert that's going to be running off of these settings, okay? That you can either, you can manually pause if you need to, right? You can resume it. If you go in here and you go, okay, well, you know what? So I want to change, the sizing. Let's say I want to go to 4 instead. And I click OK. And then you let it automate and you see that it's still at 2, okay? What that is telling you is that the changes you just made are not saved or populated onto the old alert. Anytime, no matter what it is, any sort of change that you make, if you want that to be applied to the strategy or to the algorithm or to the alert, you have to delete the old alert and just do the same exact thing you just did, right? Add alert. In the message box, if you guys want a quicker way to get to the strategy or the JSON, you can just go to the add placeholder button here, and it's this alert message section button right here, and it'll automatically paste it for you. Okay, you don't have to go back to QuantLink if you don't want to. And then for the webhook, your webhook is going to be saved each time, no matter what the most recent webhook that you use. Okay, and then you click create. Now this new alert will now have the updated settings and changes that you made to the strategy, right? But if you change the settings without updating the alert, the alert will still only fire off the old settings. Okay. And that's what sometimes people say, oh, like my strategy is not trading, or the strategy is not using the proper sizing, or whatever the case. That's the reason why, right? And that's basically like step-by-step how to do it. Again, your user ID and your alert ID come directly from QuantLink when you're creating your webhook, right? If you want to now create a different strategy, you go back here. So let's say you already have, let's say you want to do, Nemesis Cash for the alert, right? You go to the webhook again, you click Nemesis Cash, and then you go, okay, now I want to create another strategy. Each time it'll give you a different alert ID whenever you create another webhook. Okay, so this is whenever you're creating a new alert, you have to go through this process. It'll give you the user ID and alert ID. You'll go back to TradingView. Let's say you want to add, I don't know, QZeus or something. Let's say you want to add QZeus, right? You go here to the settings. Again, very first thing that you do is you QuantLink alerts. Make sure that's checked. Copy, paste user ID, copy, paste alert ID. QZeus does implement OCO brackets if you want it to. You click OK, right? Now, obviously you want to confirm that these are the settings you want to use. If you need to change the settings, or you want to take the strategy itself from Discord, right, to use someone else's settings, then what you would then do is bring that to TradingView and then go into the settings of that specific strategy, add these two things we just added, click OK, go to alert, add alert, same exact thing here, right? Message box, delete everything. This is a shortcut, add placeholder, alert message. Notifications tab, the webhook endpoint, copy. It shouldn't always be the same. Paste, but you can still copy and paste it just to make sure. Create. And in less than 60 seconds, I created a new alert, right? Why? Because I know where the buttons are. I know the process it takes to create that alert, because I spent the time to learn how to do it, right? And that's a big reason for what we're doing now, is teaching you guys how to do it. But ultimately, the step-by-step process is directly on your dashboard, right? The question just is, are you going to go through it, right? And learn and practice and do it, or not? And that's an individual decision that you guys can decide to do or not to do, right? But again, as we talk about differences and outcomes with people, whether they're trading with ATS 1.4 or with QuantLink or the algorithms. Everybody has access to the same algorithms, the same settings, the same systems, right? The only difference between one person to another, whether person A is successful and getting payouts and so on and so forth, and person B is not, I promise you that 95% of the time, one common denominator is that they don't know simple things like what I just showed you, right? They never bothered to go through the YouTube video setup guides, to go through the QuantLink step-by-step guides, to go through the user manual, right? And it's not that it's difficult, right? It's just as with anything that's new, okay, it takes a little bit more time because of the fact that you don't know where the buttons are to do certain things, right? So it just takes, it's a more elongated process versus if you just, practiced and learn, there's plenty of ways that you can go on a weekend and practice setting up alerts for a demo account, right? And then have it go on Monday. And if it's trading good as it's supposed to, then okay, you did it right. Right. And then you just rinse and repeat. And then at some point, you're going to be able to do everything that I just did in the same exact 60 seconds that I just did. Right. And the difference is I was like still speaking during those steps. So I could probably do it a lot quicker, But again, it comes with, at the end of the day, especially for ATS more than anything, the investment aspect of it. Right. You guys ultimately made an investment. To then make that investment and not go through the proper steps of learning and knowing how to manage the system is, I would say, a disrespect to yourself, right? At the end of the day. Because ultimately, you guys have full control over the algorithms, the settings, the setup process. We give you all the tools that you need. Everything's in your court. If you need help because something, for whatever reason, is actually not working properly, which again, 99% of the time it's user error. And that's just the honest truth, right? We're not saying that you guys are the people or dumb or they don't know what they're doing or they're lazy. Sometimes it just really is, a glitch or a bug, right? And we go and we fix it. But 99% of the time, it is user error. And sometimes we can even gauge whether it's user error or something's actually wrong because, and again, I'm not speaking about anybody specifically in here, or anybody in specific, but it'll be a newer member, and they'll be asking questions, 3 days, 4 days into being on ATS about like step one of, troubleshooting or step two of creating an alert, or like copy and pasting, your user ID and your alert ID into the strategy, before creating the alert. Like all of that is like the first or second video that you watch, or that you're supposed to watch. So for you to make that investment and then not go through the steps of like, okay, now I'm going to learn how to do it, is just like a disservice to yourself at the end of the day. Right. And that's a big reason why we have the boot camp, just to not really teach you guys this, but to reinforce it. Because technically speaking, you guys should more than likely already at least have an idea of the process, right? And if you don't, then that should tell you already you haven't done the necessary steps to learn and understand something that you yourself are then making an investment to with more money, right? Because, if someone, came up to me, and said, oh, I'll do it for you, like 100%, and you don't have to do anything, but then I take 50% of the money that I make, that would be an easy trade-off because I'm not doing any work, right? But you keep 100% of the money that you make with the tools and the systems that we provide to you guys. You guys have full control, whether it's running one strategy, multiple strategies, being super intermediate with sizing, being super aggressive with sizing, right? And you guys reap the benefits, or, most likely, I hope, take accountability for the fact of, implementing it in maybe a not efficient or smart way, right? Because again, you guys have full control. We don't control it for you. We don't touch it for you. We'll do the initial setup, obviously, But then after that, aside from the onboarding and all that, you guys dictate how it works or how it's used. Okay. Esteban, sorry, I just saw that question. I was told that if the trading view chart is on NQ, swapping that new alert symbol mapping in QuantLink to MNQ will enter on the micro. Is that correct? No, you would just so to do that, you would create the alert on TradingView so let's say if you want to do the alert on micro and have it send to, so let's say MNQ, and you want to set to NQ, right? Okay. If you want the alerts to come from NQ so then you can execute on NQ, then you make the alert for the strategy on TradingView for MNQ. But when you're coming here to QuantLink, right, and you're going to the trading alerts, instead what you're doing is when you're dictating the symbol that you want to do, right? Oh, where is it? Oh, not the symbol. I'm sorry. In the trading group, okay, alert. Let me close this one. When you go to create the alert, right, and you go, let's say prop, and then you want to go to the prop, create alert, okay, and then you go to the webhook, and you add alert. Wait, I think I'm missing a step here. Oh, I'm missing a step. Okay. Yeah, so when you go to create alert, go here, you create the alert and you go symbol mapping, you go NQ. So you dictate it for NQ on QuantLink, right? So it'll be getting the alerts from MNQ, but then it'll be executing directly on NQ instead. Or vice versa. If you want to go from NQ to MNQ, right? Then on TradingView, you make the alert for NQ. So you go here, you go through the process, you go alert, blah, 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 right? And then in QuantLink, instead, then you go MNQ, right? So that'll allow you to dictate or trade. Let's say if you want to trade NQ for whatever reason instead, right? You take NQ alerts; those are sent to your QuantLink, but then your QuantLink is actually executing directly on your NQ instead of MNQ. So that's how you do it across the way, essentially. So yeah, you're technically right. You use symbol mapping and QuantLink to MNQ. Most strats I've seen backtest better on mini, but only want to trade micros to start. Yeah, one strategy that does backtest a little bit better on micro is actually QZeus. QZeus has slightly better results on MNQ than it does NQ. But yeah, if you want to go mini, then just make the alert for the mini contract and then have that execute when you create the symbol mapping. Do that for MNQ instead, if that's what you want to trade to or send your alerts to and execute on. But yeah, did that basically explain everything for everybody? Does anybody have any questions about what I just went over with QuantLink? Think up some questions. I'm gonna go heat my coffee super quick while you guys ask some questions. can you execute eval accounts on QuantLink and sim? That was what? Hey yo. Yeah, are you asking if you can do eval accounts? Yeah, it would be the same exact way. It just happened to have the cash account, that specific cash account connected. So when you go, if you want to do the eval account, when you go to the manage connections, like the only thing would just be add a new connection. If your eval account is through Tradevate, you just log in, see Apex, you just log in to your eval account there, right? And then if you want to do Project X, then you just dictate what prop firm you have with Project X and connect with your login credentials. Can you execute and do the PA account on ATS at the same time? Yeah. Okay, so that's okay. If that's what you're asking, then yeah. So let's say if you want to do your eval accounts on QuantLink and your PA accounts for ATS, right? You would create a group in here for QuantLink for the specific eval accounts that you want to automate, right? Because it's only going to automate those accounts. And then on your ATS, the VPS, right? The way that you group trade with your ATS is on Tradevate inside of the app on your virtual server. You create a group, right? And that group, you just only use or select the funded accounts that you have, the PA accounts, right? And you can, again, automate different strategies, or you can automate the same strategy to both. You just have to create different alerts for it. So like you'd go through the step. So you manage your connections. You go here, let's say it's Apex, right? You log in with your Apex. Okay. You now have your Apex connection here in your trading groups. When you go to create group, right? And let's say I go here, Apex. Let's say I have 20 accounts that I can choose from, right? And 10 of them are eval and 10 of them are PA. I would only select the box for the eval accounts, right? And I'd click add selected. And now that group for Apex, whatever alert I make for this specific group, this process that we just went over, right? Whatever alert I make for that specific group will only be traded to those specific eval accounts, right? And then when I go to my virtual server, my VPS, inside of Tradevate, when I create my group, I will only select the PA accounts that I want to automate, right? And when I'm creating the alert, you would just do like, let's say, Apex ATS alert and then Apex QuantLink alert, right? Thank you. Reason would be you'd pass Apex valves with QuantLink and go incognito. That could be a reason, but again, Apex allows automation. I know that their disclosure and all that says otherwise. I just think that they haven't bothered to update it yet. Yeah. Wait, two more groups. I think each group has up to 20 accounts. So you can just make a separate alert for each group. So if you have 2 alerts, you can do up to 40 different accounts. And you could just create a new alert with the same exact settings and it'll do the same thing. But I'm not sure if you can do multiple groups. Or actually, no, yeah, I think you can. Create alert. Let me go back here. Let me create another group real quick. I think you can. Let's just use this as an example. Train alert. So when you go to create, yeah, you can. I think you can do 2. Yeah, you can do both. So you can do multiple, and then you just go, okay, I want it to trade MNQ. Boom, MNQ, add symbol. I create, props. Let's say I have 10 with multiple prop firms and then 20 with Apex. And those are the 2 groups. There you go, create alert. And then you just go the same thing, webhook generator, and then you just create alert on TradingView, connect that to here, and then it'll automate. But yeah, you can do two. I wasn't 100% sure, but you can. That's a good question. But yeah. Oh, this coffee's hot. Okay. So, next thing on the docket is to go over like the basics of um, NinjaTrader setup. Now, I will say I'm not as, I would say, familiar with NinjaTrader as someone like Austin. So he's like the NinjaTrader guy for QuantView specifically. He's the one that does like all the scripts for NinjaTrader and all that. He's like a professional. Like he's been on NinjaTrader for multiple years. I just recently started using it, but the setup process was easy enough that I literally got it in 4 hours by myself without asking any questions. So it's very easy to do. Less than 4 hours. I'm exaggerating that. Very easy to do. But let me minimize that, and then I'm going to share. Let's see, NT NinjaTrader. Okay. Let me do this instead. I'm just going to show the whole screen. I know you guys see it on Discord, but I'm just trying to make sure that's showing in. Make sure it's showing in the recording. Man, how am I supposed to do this on here? You guys can see it on Discord though, right? Okay. Yo-Yo, are we allowed to run both? I mean, yeah, of course you are. You just obviously wouldn't want to be running the same contract on the same accounts, whether it's manual or automation. Because if you're manually trading, like this is an example. Let's say you have one Apex account. If you're manually trading MNQ on NinjaTrader, and then you have an algorithm running on TradingView through QuantLink for that same account on MNQ also, you can technically do that, but I would never recommend that because if you're manually trading, let's say you take a buy and the algorithm takes a sell, right? It's just going to cancel you out of that buy, or the difference in contracts will just be canceled out, right? If you wanted to do like a different contract, sure. Like let's say you want the algorithm to trade NQ and then you manually trade MNQ, you can do that. Still, I wouldn't recommend it, but at the end of the day, it's your accounts, right? But yeah, you can technically do that. I would just be careful about the same contract on the same account. But if you have, let's say, one group of accounts automating, right? And then you're manually trading another group of accounts or a separate account or whatever, you can do that perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean either way, they're different platforms. But yeah, you can do that. Sorry, I'm just trying to add the full thing. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So this goes perfect. Okay, so now we're currently seeing NinjaTrader here. Okay, so on Discord, you have the automatic file installations for Discord. So let me log into that Discord real quick. Okay, there we go. So on Discord, you do have the automatic inside of your Ninja Training channel. So right here, you have your automatic file install. Okay. So your NinjaTrader needs to be closed for this to work. Okay. But what you do is you basically click, you have your file install guide. So this is the step-by-step process. So you would open this and then you would scroll up ever so slightly. Okay. And then you have your, oh, where is it? There we go. NinjaTrader file download. So this will download everything for you. Okay. It'll download the templates. It'll download the strategies, everything that you need. In order to use the NinjaTrader tools, strategies, and algos, you need to follow this step-by-step process for the machine ID. Okay. Machine ID on NinjaTrader platform, it says it right here, help, control center, help, then click third-party licensing. So that would be right here, right? So this is the control center. You go to help and you go to third-party licensing, right? And then the next step is input quant view into the vendor name field. So here you'll do quant view, pretend I'm typing quant view. And then in the user defined section, simply put identifying suffix. So for example, I could put like Jev Banksy, right? And then once I click submit, it will then provide me a NinjaTrader user-defined machine ID, okay? And you're gonna send that machine ID to the email, okay? Again, literally step-by-step, right in front of you, right? In the Ninja Training section. Just takes a little couple scrolls up to give you exactly what you need to do, okay? If for whatever reason, okay, when you're importing the indicators and strategies, you're having an issue, these are the troubleshooting steps right here. Okay, you go to the link with the welcome email and download the indicators and strategies. It'll be a combined zip file for you to download. Okay, open the folder you downloaded and unzip the combined zip file and only the combined zip file. So the file itself, all you will literally do is right click and it'll give you the option unzip. Okay. Then once you do that properly, you'll have the folder that has individual indicator strategy zip files. Don't, in all caps, don't unzip that file. Open NinjaTrader, go to tools. So that's up here. So I want to exit out of this, right? You go to tools. Okay. And then you go to import. And then once you go to import, you go NinjaScript add-on, right? You click NinjaScript add-on, and then that will open up your computer with the files that you had just downloaded to where then you can select that folder and download them, right? So, Kronos Evo, right? I select, open, boom, and then it downloads. So obviously for this specific scenario, it'll be the entire file download. Right? Okay. And that's how you download it and troubleshoot those steps. But first you need the machine ID in order to actually use it. Then you have your steps to troubleshoot here if for whatever reason the automatic file install doesn't happen automatically. Okay. And then once that's done, you'll have everything in the NinjaTrader that you need. Okay. When it comes to connections, if you want to connect an account, okay, you go to the connections tab and you click configure. Okay. Anything Tradeovate, you would go to NinjaTrader right here. And then these are the ones that were already configured. So if you've already logged into one previously, right here, and then you put in your username and ID, you click apply, and then you click OK. Account type, live, simulation. If it's a prop firm account, obviously simulation. You log in, you apply, you click OK. Boom. Then you will have your connection here directly. So then now you can then open a chart and then apply the strategy. Okay. So in order to open a chart like this, you go here, you click the new button. Okay. And then once you click the new, then where is it? You go to chart, and then in the chart, you can select your symbol instrument. So if you want to go MNQ, obviously I have it pinned. You go MNQ, you select it, and then you dictate what type of chart you want it to be, right? Do you want it to be Renko brick? Do you want it to be candle? Where's candle? Where's candle? Not tick. Oh my God, I can't find a candle. Oh, minute. I'm sorry. You go to the minute candles, right? And then that dictates you're doing the minutes, days to load, anything that's strategies or algos. I think you have to have at least 4 to 5 days to load minimum. Okay. And then, oh, here's the chart style candlestick, right? Bar width, you don't really need to do anything for that. You can just change that, make that as big or as small as you want. Outline the outline and wick match body. So just colors are the same. Lime green, red, you can change whatever colors that you want. Doji, right? And then visually speaking, auto scale, center price on scale, display and data box. Like this is just like on how it shows like on the chart itself. Color for executions, for buy, for sell, trading hour, break line, you can put also. And then once that's all set, you can click OK. Obviously, if you're doing Renko bricks, you want to do better Renko, right? And then bar width, right? So for the better Renko, this is how many ticks. So this would be equivalent to 5B for the manual strategy. If you want to do 40, that would be included to 10B for the manual strategy. Okay, so you go here, you click OK. And it opened up on the wrong chart right here. So now we have a new chart, right, with that 10 brick on it that we now, if we want to now, let's say do, manual auto Banksy for NinjaTrader, and we want to now apply a strategy to this chart again. And it would be the same whether we're applying it to this one or to this one. You right click, right? And then right here, you have indicators and you have strategies. If you go to indicators, your indicator list for what you just downloaded will pop up, right? These are all the ones that you have. Obviously, you have the QBank indicator, for example. You have version 1, version 2. I haven't downloaded the new version, which is like the more updated version, but you guys can see the difference between version 1 and version 2. You don't really need to change any of this. It comes already set to what it is that we have on TradingView. Okay. I think the only thing, no, you quite literally don't need to change anything. Yeah, and then you click apply, and then you click OK. Boom, and there's your QBank system. Obviously, the only thing missing is the Q line, which is what the version 3 has. So now when you're automating, right, realistically, if you want to just wait for everything green, you have it right here, right? The background will change color when everything is lining up. It'll give you the entry class, A, B, C, Q, cloud trend, money ball, bear, bull, right? So obviously we don't have the money ball visually here, but if we wanted to add it, we go to indicators again, right? Not there. You go to Q for quant view. Here we go. Or Moneyball. No, wait. Q, money. No, it would be Moneyball. There we go. You go Moneyball. You go apply. Okay. Boom. So now you'll see everything's green when you see the diamond, and everything is green here. Right here, you saw a diamond for buys, but we had red Q clouds and the green step MA. So when it'll only be green when it's an A, it's yellow when it's a B, and it's red when it's a C. So almost no confluences, right? Obviously, the only thing again that's missing is that Q line for the strategy. The only thing that's missing is a Q line, which basically dictates what our breakouts and everything are. And the one thing that I do like about trading or about NinjaTrader is that there's no like second chart or 5-second chart for the Renko breaks. It's 100 milliseconds for the refresh speed. So this is going to be more accurate than TradingView will be. So there will be slight differences between NinjaTrader and TradingView. Sometimes it could be positive, sometimes it could be negative, right? Obviously, it's up to you guys to decide which one you want to do. I'm going to attempt to start using NinjaTrader. Obviously, I have to download version 3 so we could have the Q line. I'm going to attempt to start using NinjaTrader so we can trade on here also. And then basically it would look like this for, let's say, if I wanted to do, or what I would probably do is I'd still have TradingView open, and then I'd just mark out like the pivot levels and important levels like directly on this chart, and then just trade it like that, right? I haven't really 100% decided how I'm going to do it yet, but remove, there we go. And then this is your one-click trading. So buy market, sell market. If I want to put a buy stop right here, so almost exactly to TradingView. Difference is that you can actually add an ATM strategy. So when you download everything, it'll give you the ATM strategy already. So it's like if I want to do Banksy 10Q or 10B, NQ10B, I can click that. So whenever I buy, it'll put automatically a stop loss the moment I put buy. So if I go here, let's see, buy stop, right? Once that gets executed, based off the ATM strategy, it'll automatic. So if I go to edit here, it'll tell me where I'm going to put the stop loss. So 40 ticks, right? So for this specific ATM strategy, this is like the OG, right? Where I would do 2 contracts and I would take half at the first box. And then after that first box prints, we're automatically moving the stop loss up to 1 box. So 1 box is always going to be a break-even trade. So, we can still do that, technically speaking, and just have the Q line still as a stop loss. But this will tell you where the stop loss will be. This is the first profit target for just 1 target, and then the other target, it will just trail by 2 boxes, right? So it'll automatically trail the moment, either buy market, sell market, or with the ATM strategy, if, sell limit, buy limit, sell stop, right? Whatever you want to do. Once it gets in, the ATM will automatically place the trades, and then it'll trail based off of what you want to set to. So if I want to do 10B, right? So like, let's say I wanted to start the stop loss at 120 ticks, because these are ticks, right? So this is 30 points. So let's say I want to start the stop loss at 120, right? Ticks, yeah, ticks, there we go. And then the stop strategy, custom, there you go. So for this one, for the custom stop strategy, you have the step 1, the stop loss is 80. Step 2, the profit trigger of $40 will then bring it up, and then every 40, it'll then move up 40 ticks, so 10 points, right? So I can change that, or I can remove that, or I could just move it manually, which is what I'll probably do. So I would just set that to none, right? And then I would set this, let's say, also to 120, right? Because I want both of them. So save template, save, right? Yes. So I can set that up to where it's like, if I want to take a sell, it'll start at a 3-box stop loss. If I need to adjust it to 2 or maybe even adjust it to 4, I can manually. And then it can manually trail on its own, right? And that's if you're manually doing entries and exits, right? When you have a strategy like this. Because when you go to the strategies here, right, this will be a list. So obviously we don't have a strategy running. If I wanted to put a automated strategy instead of indicators, I would go to the strategies tab, right? Now that would then open the strategies that I have the automated strategies that I have loaded in. If I want to use Q-Grid Banksy strat, which is the same as a manual strat, right? I can do, let's say I could set a time frame for when it's starting, when it's stopping. If I wanted to just run 24/7, I can, right? I can set a max daily profit. I could do the trading mode. I could either do version 1 or version 2. Okay, I can add an ATM strategy also, so similar to how we would if we were doing it manually. Skip first entry, right? All these settings for what other people are running are directly inside of the Discord, okay, in the AutoBanksy automated trading forum. So if we go here, right, you go to automated trading forum, and then where's AutoBanksy? Somewhere here. There's an entire forum on it for people that are using this specific strategy on NinjaTrader. Obviously, haven't been using it because at the end of the day, I trade it manually. Where is it? There we go. Right here, right? And you have all of the settings and the discussions for it, right? You have the pinned messages as well that you can go. This is what it would look like when it takes a buy and then it's trailing, right? So everything's blue. You see everything there visually. But when we come back here to NinjaTrader, you would just base these settings off of what you see here, what you see in that Discord channel that other people are running, right? And then you click apply and you click OK. And now notice how you see you have the Q Banksy strat for MNQ on 40 better Renko, right? And then you want to enable that. So once you enable it, now you'll see it. So if I want to remove, let's say I want to remove the indicators. So okay, those are associated with the strategy. Obviously, I don't want to remove that one, right? But now visually, you see everything here. It'll tell you the current P&L, max drawdown, max profit, trailing loss, hey, yes, no, okay to trade, yes. And then it'll manually trade. So if you don't see trades allowed up here, it's not enabled, right? This will also be green. You also want to make sure that you're connected to the specific account, and then you dictate the account that you want it to automate to here, as well as directly in the strategy. So if we go back to the strategies, right, and we click here, oh, I can't edit it because it's enabled. Hold up. You have to disable it, and then you go to strategies, right? And we go here, you can dictate what account on the account right here, boom, which one you want it to run to. You click OK, and then you also make sure that this is the one that you're showing, and then you click enable, you click OK, and then now it'll be enabled for you, right? And it'll manually trade. But the difference between the manual system and the automated system is that the automated system will not trade the same as we would manually, right? We don't have filters, for example, for the pivot points, or there's no entry criteria for the breakouts, right? So at the end of the day, we it's not going to be the same exact, right? So don't expect, oh, someone made this so and so money on manual system, so I should expect the same on the automated system. That's not going to be the case, okay? And then obviously if you need to pause it, you can pause it right there. So if you wanted to trade instead, so let's say I go to the indicators here, and I wanted to remove this one. So that was the manual system, right? Apply, okay. So now I only have the automated version, which I think the step MA is a little bit better. It's closer to what TradingView is. You can enable it and then pause the trades, right? Because if you don't want to automate it and instead you just want to use it for entries, you can pause it, but it has to be enabled, right? So it has to be paused from taking entries. Because if you have it disenabled, it won't show. So you have to enable it for the chart, click OK, enable it for the chart, and then pause it so that it's not automating trades, and instead you're just manually entering an exit. So you go buy market, sell market, all that stuff, right? And then you just manually adjust it. Okay. But that's basically it with the setup. Like I said, if it's a specific strategy setup, we have the YouTube videos on it for every single strategy. It's directly in your NinjaTrader training script as well, with your NinjaTrader training section as well also. But I'm probably going to implement this during the week. I just need to download the updated version of AutoBanksy so that I can use the version 3, which has that Q line included also. Okay, but that's what I'm going to do. And then obviously if you want to delete, you could always come here and remove the strategy altogether, and then you can close this page here, right? Obviously this is a different strategy that I have running. This is the Q Kronos Evo, the bear settings that I have running currently. This is just what's it called? Like I'm just forward testing on one micro. Okay. But yeah, and then aside from that, I believe we've gone over everything. Do you guys have any other questions for stuff? Yo-Yo said, so the NinjaTrader platform execution screen is one as the strategy chart compared to TradingView that's allowed two-sided view. You can open two different charts. I'm pretty sure you can open two different panels in one window. I just haven't learned how to do that yet, personally. So what I'll probably do is still use TradingView like chart. So I'll probably have like the TradingView section or TradingView chart up for the regular. So this chart up here, I'll probably have this up, right? Like for the regular candlestick. So this is what I'll probably do. It is, where is it? There we go. So I'll probably just make this full screen, right? Delete this. Probably just make this full screen and then manually plot out like these levels. So like the pivot levels, right? The orange lines, and then the previous day high, previous day low levels, the opening range, VWAP, right? I'll just be looking. So I'll have them side by side and I'll just execute directly on NinjaTrader, most probably. That's what I'll more than likely do. But yeah, like I said, pretty straightforward. It really isn't super difficult. Like I started maybe using it or implementing it last week, and I have a good feel for it already. It's not hard. It's just, again, as with anything, it takes practice, and it's more so like, where are the buttons? But yeah, does anybody have any other questions about anything? No, yo, the only thing was just watch the video. That literally goes over everything that we're going to be going over or using. So, no, the one that I sent in the group chat for the bootcamp, and that's also attached to the forum for the strategy itself, the YouTube video. See, I'm gonna get the link again. I'm gonna tag you in the message. There. I just tagged you in the message for the that had the YouTube video. I'm probably gonna try Ninja Trader um, tomorrow, at least for the executions and stuff. Um, just for like practice, but I mean, it's not really. It's really literally the same thing. There isn't like a huge difference. But yeah, tomorrow it'll be the normal start time, so 9:15. We'll do our market recap. What I'll probably do is I'll do the market recap on TradingView and then executions on NinjaTrader, and we'll kind of go from there. Because I do think that the NinjaTrader is going to be better. I just obviously haven't used it too much, but really good day, guys. Um, I think we pretty much went over everything that we needed to go over. I was talking a little bit fast. Just rewatch the video, pause it in the places that you need to pause it. Um, but good video, good information. Like I said, I don't want to again make the videos too long for those that need to watch the recording. So we'll probably end it here. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out in the bootcamp chat. Like I said, ask. Um, I know a lot of you guys are asking good questions. Like I said, that's great. Um, if you're using the strategies, if you're using the strategies on NinjaTrader, you would need to install the strategies. If you're just only going to use NinjaTrader for execution, so like you open up NinjaTrader and you just open a regular Renko chart, you can look back and forth between NinjaTrader and TradingView and just execute that way. But what I showed with the strategies themselves, in order for it to be plotted on your chart on NinjaTrader, you would need to download it. Yeah. No problem. But yeah, so tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. start. Um, we'll do our pre-market analysis, get ready to trade at 9:30. And like you guys know, for me specifically trading, I stick between 9:30, 9:35, and 10:30 the most, right? Very rarely take entries outside of that time frame, from obvious reasons as I've shared. But again, ultimately, just want to make sure that you guys are, understanding and have a good grasp and a good feel for what it is that we're doing. Obviously, we'll go a little bit slow the first week or so, and then as we go more and more in depth into the system, we'll get a little bit more advanced with like different types of entries and models and all that stuff. Teaching how to use like the opening range, the VWAP, the pivot points, all that stuff. Okay. What's the max trade you usually take within that time frame? I mean, I wouldn't say there's a max trade. Um, if if I take two trades and they're losses, I more than likely end it there. Because more often than not, for me, time base wise, it's not worth it to stay past 10:30 in most cases. But if we have a one and done and we get a 30, 40, 50 point move, like that's it. Like I'm not gonna continue trading. You know, we're still gonna stay on and we're still gonna like look at entry models and different opportunities. but I myself am not going to be like entering or anything, because I still want to give you guys as many live examples as possible. But like I said, more often than not, I mean, there was an entire like 2 weeks in the last boot camp that we were on like an 8 or 9 trade win streak, and they were all like one and done days within the first like 5-10 minutes. So if someone starts after, you can still guide them in some viable trades. I don't know what you're asking. Like, what do you mean by that? Starts after? What do you mean? Well, I'm starting after 9:30. I don't trade until after 9:30. 9:15 is just the the pre-market. Like we're just plotting and planning like possible moves that can happen. But then we're not actually like looking to execute anything until after 9:30. Most times after 9:35. And again, this is anytime, even normally, right? Any sort of live trading that I do, this is always going to be education to show you guys the way that I read the chart and how I enter. None of these trades that we go over should be used as signals to follow if you don't understand what the strategy is or how it works, right? The point is to teach you how to use this specific strategy in your own way. If you decide to trade with a 3 box stop loss or a 2 box stop loss, or you trail by the Q line, or you trail by 2 boxes, that's completely up to you guys, right? There's multiple different ways to trade this strategy. But my job is to just teach you and show you how you can implement it and then ultimately learn to do it yourself. That's the whole idea, right? Okay, good. I work overnight usually. I make it home close to 9:30 a.m. Okay, awesome. Yeah, T, the video will be uploaded today. I'm going to start compiling it in the next couple minutes after we finish here. Yeah, the information for Ninja Turn, no problem. House top one features, saw it on your video. Great sales right now, strictly for Zeus/Auto. I think they're great. I mean, I think that when they first came about, they had much better plans. Like they were very competitive. Like the payout, you only needed 2% profit to request a payout. Um, it was, what's it called? They were a little bit cheaper. You need like for the I'm sorry, I'm talking about like for instant funded accounts. For instant funded accounts, you only needed 2% to request a payout. So for a 50K account, you literally only needed $1,000 profit to request a payout. Um, but yeah, I think they're good. I haven't used them in a while because once I took a couple payouts from them, I lost the accounts, but um, I think they're good. Like I don't have anything against them. I haven't heard of any issues with them paying out, which is also a good thing. But yeah, like I said, the Banksy code will get you a good discount for them also. At the end of the day, it's a good deal if they have 60% off straight to funded. I love the bootcamp, needed for guidance. I was a little stuck with my software as I usually have multiple questions with the settings. I'll stick to it monthly for manual. Okay. Yeah, sometimes process wise, it takes a little bit longer for some people just because I do understand that it can be a little bit overwhelming. But I think sometimes people tend to want to go like be on step 5 or step 6 of like running multiple different strategies across multiple different accounts without first learning how to do like one strategy on one account, you know? So that definitely doesn't help sometimes. But we'll go over all that stuff throughout the boot camp, guys. Like I said, at the end of the day, the goal is to make sure that you guys are much more prepared going forward. Okay. But yeah, we'll kind of end it right now. Give you guys a chance to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, like I said, 9:15, and then I'll post a recording today as well. Okay. I'll have Condor posted as quickly as possible. All right, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Okay. Take care.